Hey everyone, I wanted to do a video today on a few different curios and roots that I use. These are some of my favorites. I did another video covering some really basic roots used in Hoodoo and Conjure, but this is going to be like curios and a couple roots thrown in here. We're going to talk about lodestones. So I'm going to try to go through a good variety of these in a relatively short amount of time here so you don't get too terribly bored. Let's start with, we'll just jump right in here. I'm not going to go in any particular order. Nothing's really going to be related to anything else. These are just some of my favorites that I use and that I'm going to pass along to you how I use them. Okay, so the first one is brick dust. Now I offer ground brick dust on my site already. This is a chunk, obviously, of an old brick. This particular piece was found in New Orleans. I'm not particularly sure where I found it at, but so when you have a piece like this, you can use this outside on your sidewalks or your porches or your stoop or whatever to draw your sigils or your veves to sort of create a gateway to invite the spirits into your home. You can also draw sigils or symbols of, prosperity for your home or for protection for your home. These are all, super common ways to use this. I sell it already ground up. I'll take the work out of it for you. So I offer it already pre-ground on my site, and that it was traditionally used to lay down barriers either in front of your door or your gateways or around the perimeter of your home. So the idea is that because it was illegal for slaves to practice their religion, they would have to hide and practice their traditions in secrecy. And one of the places, allegedly, that they would do this was in abandoned brickyards. So these bricks sort of took on this power and this symbolism of protection and hiding and making them invisible, and also protecting them and repelling the police or any authority that would be trying to look for them to discover them practicing their traditions and their religions in secrecy. So that energy became imbued in the idea of brick dust. So there's the first one. Second one is, I'm going to show you some gator teeth here. These are really big ones. The ones I offer on my site are a little smaller. These big ones I keep on my altar. Gator teeth have a natural hollow down in them because alligators shed their teeth. So they have, this one actually has another tooth already inside of it there. So they shed them naturally. And what I like to do, I offer these loaded on my site. I fill these with herbs and resins and maybe some pyrite or some iron filings. And I'll put some wax in there, load everything in there so it sticks, and then cap it all off with more wax. And I would add this to a Mojo bag for luck or prosperity or gambling. You could even load it with protection gree and put it in a protection bag. So the alligator has always been a symbol of luck. I think typically animals that have extreme longevity, like turtles and lizards and alligators, things that have remained unchanged for millennia, typically are associated with luck. And I guess it's just sort of that, propelling, ongoing energy that they have sustained all these years unchanged. So next is we're going to look at some cowrie shells. These were used, I have several different kinds here. This is I think this is a snakehead cowrie. This is a purple top cowrie, and then these are called money cowries. They have a little bit different shape. I'm going to try to see if you can sort of see that shape there. These were used as trade, as actual currency for many cultures throughout Africa. Even the Native Americans did it. So they automatically have the energy of prosperity imbued in them, but they also, as a natural curio, or a natural zoological curio we would call it, is they look like vulvas or yonis or vaginas. So these would very commonly be used to represent a woman in work or represent fertility. Obviously, the seashell is going to be associated with Yemeya, so there's your fertility aspect. She also rules wealth, so that all ties right into that. So you could use that for either prosperity or sort of feminine, a feminine energy to represent a woman, or fertility, pregnancy, things like this. This little set here, this is a very misunderstood little set. I'm going to try to get it in here. My nails are covering it up, sorry. So this is what's called an Adam and Eve root. This is the Adam part. People get confused, but if you look at it, it's kind of obvious which one is which. So the male part is always kind of going to look like a male member, and then the female part is round and has a little opening here. So use these in workings, often to maybe bring restore a relationship, reconciliation, fertility, pregnancy, things like this. So they're not roots. That's the first thing I want to specify. This is a balsam bud off of a balsam tree, and this is actually a type of lotus seed. A golden lotus seed is what it's called. But when you go to buy these, they call them Adam and Eve roots, but neither one of them are roots at all. So it's typically, you would use this in a working over, say 7 days, and you move them closer and closer together, and then, you insert the one inside the other, which symbolizes the reconciliation or the restoration or the consummation, the fertility. So it's kind of, self-explanatory. Again, a lot of symbolism there with your physical actions, and also with what the roots physically look like, going back to the doctrine of signatures. Let's do here's a lucky hand root. We'll do this guy next. Sorry, it's kind of blurry. I don't have the best technology here. So this little guy, you can see, it looks like a little hand. His 5 fingers are waggling around. And these can be used for luck or money. I would say traditionally it's more luck or money. That's not what I meant to say. Luck or love. Traditionally, I think it's mostly used for obtaining employment, gaining luck, gambling, things like this. But the idea is, with it being shaped like a hand, is that it will lend you power to anything that you do with your hands. So your work, gambling, whatever. But I also think of it as, I could see it as a way to sort of grasp onto love. I mean, we use our hands for love. We show physical affection. We hug and, touch one another. So I don't see any reason it couldn't also be used for that. And I have added it to my nation sacks for that specific reason. Excuse me. This is a Valerian root. This is like, these are all from my personal collection, okay? So they're all kind of funky shaped or really big, because I like really big, funky stuff, if you'll notice my earrings and my jewelry. So this is a Valerian root. These smell god-awful. It smells like a combination between, I don't even want to tell you, because it'll just discourage you from working with it. They don't smell good though, okay? So Valerian root, also called vandal root, is known to keep away thieves or people that might vandalize your property. So it's automatically really great for protection. It's also really good for healing. Valerian root is a really mild natural sedative. It is non-addictive. So you could see it for easing anxiety, bringing peace, healing. So these are all things that you could use this for. So when you have peace, and I also offer everything I'm showing you, I offer on my site, okay? So I'm not showing you anything that I will not allow you access to. When you get a big one like this, you can just keep it whole. I like to keep my things whole personally, and just involve them in my altar setup, and that's how I work with them. I like to honor it in its natural form, in a big piece. You can, of course, get this and put it in a Ziploc baggie and whack it with a hammer, and use the little pieces in your Mojo bags, or put them in oils, or oil bottles, things like that. Put them in some cheesecloth or some muslin, excuse me, and put it in your bath to make a bath tea, things like that. This is devil's shoestring. Again, this is a really big piece. This comes from a variety of viburnum, if you are familiar with your botanical names at all. So the idea with devil's shoestring is it is used to trip up the devil. So for protection, repelling evil, things like this. A very traditional recipe this is utilized in is you would take pieces of this, 9 little pieces, and put it in some whiskey or rum and let it sit for a while, and then you get this really great protective cleansing agent. Okay, so you can use it as a hand rub, so before you do your work you can dress your hands with it. I think that's a step that's really overlooked with hoodoo and really any folk magic or spiritual practice, is using your oils and your hand rubs to, in your colognes, your spiritual waters, Florida water, etc., to dress your hands first to sort of prepare yourself. It's, we use incense to prepare our space. It's sort of a way to prepare your body, which I think it's important to utilize every aspect of the self in your environment when you're setting up a working. So there's that. This is an alligator claw. This is, these are often used in gambling or for luck, prosperity, going back to the alligator teeth that I showed you. But of course, this is the little hand part, so it kind of involves the, whatever you touch or whatever you can hold or whatever you do with your hands, so it can apply for employment, things like this. And I want you to know, a lot of people, I get this question on my site a lot. These alligators, these are waste parts from alligators, okay? People raising alligators on farms are not making their money, they're not making their fortune off of the little alligator hands and the alligator teeth, which are just shed naturally anyway. So there are alligator farms, just like there are cow farms and pig farms and chicken farms, and y'all eat cows and pigs and chickens. So alligators are raised and farmed for meat, byproducts of pet food, things like that. So I know it may seem strange to you, but in other places in the country, this is what they do, and this is, I completely against, I get it if you're against farming of any animal, but most of us aren't. Most of us are eating, pigs, cows, and chickens. So just to let you know, and I eat alligator, I love it. So moving on here, I've got a few more. I'm gonna try to wrap this up because I don't think people like it when the videos get too long. Here, these are my personal lodestones, so these are going to be a bit bigger than like the ones you get on my site. This guy's kind of a funny shape, which is why I kept him. Let me see if you can get in there. You can see he's got all this little iron filings on him. They kind of look like little hairs sticking out. And this is my big one. This is Mama Jamma here. I'm going to try to hold it without getting stuff all over the place. So I like to work with two. One to repel negativity, and one to attract or draw in positivity or my goals. So one to, you have to excuse my cat right now, she's wanting to go outside. So one to keep away anything that is going to interfere in your work or your goals, and the other one to draw in your goals. So I always work with two. Lodestones are naturally magnetic. They come from the earth just like that. And some people believe that, lodestones have been used for years. They originally used them to direct ships. And used them as compasses. So some people, from what I have researched and learned, is that they are from places on the earth where lightning has hit and naturally magnetized that area. I think they can probably exist outside of that as well, but I'm just letting you know what I know about them. Okay, so moving on here. Here's this kind of a weird one. Most people probably aren't going to use these. These are dirt dauber nests. So this is comes from a certain type of wasp that makes these nests. And if you do decide to order one of these from me and you get it, please don't wig out that there is a bug in it, because it's a frickin' bug nest. So if you get it, there might be dead bugs in it. That shouldn't be news to anybody. But so these have a really kind of odd dual purpose here. These are often used insects, stinging insects, such as red ants. Red ants is something I use a lot. I use that to make my kufwa dust, or also known as goofer's dust now. That's a bastardization of the name, but it's not goofer's dust, it's kufwa. But I use red ants and the actual ground up dirt daubers in my kufwa dust. So you can use these for hexing. If you were to grind it up and make a powder, it grinds up into a really, really nice powder. You can also use it for better business. Now I know those seem like two really wacky opposite things, but it's the truth. In my better business powders and oils that I use, that I create, this is top ingredient. So like I said, you would ground these up, or I just keep them whole sometimes on my altar, especially these really nice big ones like this, because I'm so impressed that this is made in nature, and I just want to preserve it and sort of pray and give honor and respect to these insects. So yeah, so there's that. So this is that's a dirt dauber nest. Like I said, that's kind of an unusual one. People may not get into that. So what do you do with all these things? So what you can do, I use them in altar work and sort of, you know, arranging and sort of building my ashe and building my energy in my working. If I was doing hexing, you can look at many of my photographs online of my work. You'll see that I have arranged, you know, these dirt dauber nests around it to sort of lend that energy to the work. Other than that, you would create mojo bags with these things, and I offer plain empty flannel handmade mojo bags on my site as well. I have them in probably 6 or 7 different colors, and so you would use these items to start building your own mojo bags. That is that's something that is very important step to do, is to start creating this and create one that you can sort of add to and grow with and get to know, and it becomes part of your practice, and you use that as a physical symbol to encompass your honoring of your spirits, honoring of your ancestors, your beliefs, and also the energies of all of these beautiful items that the earth has gifted to us. So okay, I'm gonna quit talking now because it got kind of long. So thanks for watching, you guys. If you enjoy the videos, please share them on your social media pages or with your friends who may be like-minded, and subscribe to my channel. Okay, thanks. See y'all. Bye.